So, today we're going to do my final pick because I have a ton of requests from you guys. So, yeah, let's get it out of the way, shall we? Today we're going to have some fun with the Incarnon Sybaris Prime. This is a primary lever action rifle that requires mastery rank 12 and it does an almost equal split of impact slash and puncture, with the slash being a teensy bit higher. It sports an absolutely fabulous 30% crit chance with a standard 2x crit multiplier and a 25% status chance, and it fires a 2-round burst, with the first round being fired when you press the fire button and the second one when you release it. The Sybaris has always been a pretty fun gun that did decent damage, but nowadays you can do much more thanks to the Incarnon adapter that you can farm from Devire. So let us give it a shot, shall we? Alrighty ho, that's the final evolution finished. These are pretty interesting. We have elemental dominance for a bunch of status. The second one is actually quite nice, Reaver's Rapture for some damage, but we're gonna go with Survivor's Edge because I kind of want to lean more towards crit because of that 3x crit multi on the Incarnon mode. For the Arcane, we're gonna go with a bit of a no-brainer here, deadhead, easy damage, but also headshot multiplier and also negative recoil. This is really nice for the 4-round burst you get in Incarnon. Let us get the Galvanized Trio on there, Chamber for the multi-shot, Scope for the crit chance, then Aptitude. Do we want to go with Aptitude? Probably. Yeah, I kind of want the status, and the Gandhi Overload is going to be nice. Yeah, let's put it on. Interestingly enough, the Incarnon doesn't actually do any blast damage. It has the same damage split as the normal shots, but it does proc blast. I've seen it proc blast, and it also says it right here. Fire 4-round bursts and gain blast status. I wonder if we should just go... No. Actually, what about gas? We can go blast and gas. That sounds fun. Let us also not forget about Vital Sense. Rifle Elementalist, absolutely. And then we have a dash polarity. What if, hold on a second, what if we go blast, gas, and electricity? That's kind of dumb, but in like the best way possible. I think we can go 190, should be fine. Okay, finally built it up, and now show me the goodness. I want to see some good stuff. Okay, that's pretty funky. Not gonna lie, I thought this was just gonna be like a fun little thing we could try before we get an actual build, but this actually works. This is pretty sick, I like it. This pretty much utilizes Elementalist as much as you can because we have blast, gas, electricity, and occasionally a slash proc as well. Let's try the shield boys as well. My god, I think I'm actually gonna keep this. This is really cool. So I'm gonna put on an Exhaust adapter, and we're also gonna need a Forma. So let's slap, I guess, a D under Aptitude. Let's get Stabilizer in there. Now the reason I want to do it is because I want to completely remove the recoil for the Incarnon. You get a 4-round burst, but it kicks just enough to where I will sometimes miss the final shot or the final 2 shots. And this should make it much easier to land the full burst. Aha, see? This is much nicer. It doesn't feel as good when the weapon has literally no kick, but it makes it, oh yeah, it makes it much easier to actually land the full burst. Yeah, this is definitely one of those setups where removing the recoil completely is the right thing to do. Harold, my boy, I require your assistance. By the way, it's still somewhat difficult to talk to me. To me? Well, I suppose so. I am extraordinarily attractive. I do make people nervous. It's still somewhat difficult for me to talk. Because of the dental thing. It's apparently not very difficult to do a lot of damage though. Holy hell, the extra priming is huge. I am excited to finally try this out in a normal mission. I don't know whether this is placebo or not, but it seems like ever since I added Stabilizer, it seems to build Incarnon charge faster. Which is definitely a good thing. Like one of the complaints that I had in the beginning, I don't know if I voiced it or not, was that it didn't build Incarnon charge particularly fast. It is feeling mighty oh, that was a nice boom. Man, it feels so good to have any kind of AoE on a weapon like the Sybaris. And it's actually really good when you get the right procs, because we have blast, gas, and electricity. When you get all 3, you actually have decent AoE on this. You know, in the beginning, I was somewhat disappointed with some of these newer Incarnons, because the Incarnon effects are far less, well, flamboyant, let's just say, than the previous ones. But the more I play with them, the more I like them, because, like, for example, with the Sybaris, it keeps the weapon feeling like the Sybaris all the way through. Yeah, because the Incarnon is just, well, instead of a 2-round burst, you get a 4-round burst and it procs blast, but it still feels like the Sybaris. That's not really the case with something like the turret, let's just say, because the turret is a very unique weapon in the way it works normally. The Incarnon mode just turns it into a beam weapon, a really strong and pretty fun beam weapon, but you know, it just turns it into a different weapon completely. Now before someone says it, yes, a cookie cutter hunter munitions vital setup is probably gonna be better here, but I mean, it's so rare that you can do something silly like this where you have gas, blast, and electricity. I had to do it. And it's not like it's bad, it's a good setup, it clears really well. It's also infinitely more fun, like we could either bleed the enemies to death, very original, or we could choke them with gas, blow them up, and electrocute them at the same time. Greetings, demon. Let's see. I want big damage. I'm expecting big... yes. Awesome. Yep, that's cool. That's very, very cool. Alright, nice. The only weakness of this build should be armor, because we don't have that much slash and we're not stripping armor in any way, but it's really not. It's chewing through armored dudes pretty damn well. I don't even need to test this against the shield boys, because I know for a damn fact that they're gonna get absolutely obliterated. I think we're done. I can't think of anything else I would want to do here, so yeah, let's finish the mission and do the thing. So, here's the final build for the Incarnon Sybaris Prime, and it's very fun indeed. We have Galvanized Chamber for multi-shot, Galvanized Scope for crit chance, Vital Sense for crit damage, Rifle Elementalist for status damage and a bit of punch through, which is always nice. Then we slap on Galvanized Aptitude for status chance and condition overload, and we top it off with Stormbringer for electricity, as well as Thermite Rounds and Malignant Force for gas and status chance. Now for our Exiles, we actually run the Stabilizer, which in combination with our Arcane primary Deadhead completely removes recoil, with Deadhead also adding a bunch of extra damage as well as increasing our headshot multiplier. Now the reason I felt it was important to remove the recoil was because of the Incarnon mode. You get a 4-round burst, and it's pretty easy to actually miss the 3rd or 4th shot because of the recoil, but if you remove it, it's actually pretty easy to land the full burst. The evolutions I chose are pretty straightforward. We have Blazing Battle for extra damage and a bunch of extra multi-shot, which is always nice. We have Ready Retaliation, so that when we reload from an empty magazine, we reload 50% faster, and we top it off with Survivor's Edge for more base crit chance and status chance. I also want to mention my pet, Harold. He's the goodest of boys, and he primes enemies with Vital, Electricity, Impact, and Puncture. This increases the weapon's performance quite significantly, so if it seems like the weapon isn't doing as much as it did in this video, this is probably why. This is a tremendous setup for an absolutely tremendous weapon, so of course I'm gonna recommend you give this a shot. It's a lot of fun, and it does more than enough damage to clear Steel Path. It might not be as ridiculous as some of the other Incarnon weapons that have spicier Incarnon modes, like the turret for example, but it's still more than good enough. And as always guys, I thank you very much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Then I would also like to extend a special thank you to all the channel members. Thank you very much guys, I really appreciate your support, it means a lot to me. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.